I totally apologize, people. I want to show you something. Huh. Let me see. I'm going to share my screen and let me see. It's a CPS handbook. Open. So I was going about my business and I actually found this on a site, and it's a Fight CPS handbook. And some legal team actually, I believe, wrote this. And this is pretty interesting. This is my first time looking at it, so I may fumble and bumble over it. And I kind of want you guys to see what I actually found, okay? Oh, Lord, I grabbed the wrong screen on my end. Okay, there it goes. And so it says something for the people. So this group of people actually sat down and wrote something. And this home beginner's manual, Fight CPS handbook, resources, tips, family education rights, the corruption, the Constitution, human trafficking, kangaroo courts, the New World Order, and then they'd say you can contact them. But I thought it was pretty interesting, so I wanted to show you, and it has, the table of contents on the different topics that it deals with. So it says a guide to protect the constitutional rights of both parents and children as ruled by the federal circuit courts and Supreme Court. So these are some of the things that they cover, when it comes to CPS and fighting the courts. So these are some of the things that I wanted to bring up. I don't know how many people will join me, but I just wanted to do a live real quick. If it doesn't work out, then I will probably do an upload, which I tend to get, more people because my lives don't send out notifications to let people know that I'm going live. So let me continue to share this information with you guys. Okay. Hmm. Let me go ahead. So it says never ever trust anyone from CPS or DCF, and then it has two. Are all CPS workers in the United States subject to the Fourth and First Amendment? Yes, they are. The Fourth Amendment impact on child abuse investigations. When is consent not consent? Do children have legal standing to sue CPS for their illegal abduction from their home and violating their Fourth and First Amendment? These are some deep questions I never even knew, existed. Summary of family rights, family association, warrantless entry, due process, seizure, child removal, immunity. And so, decision of the United States Supreme Court upholding parental rights as fundamental. So, look at this stuff that I just found. Like I said, I haven't read over any of this, and it's giving you a lot of information for those out there that want to read this. I'm gonna sit back and allow you to read a portion of it because right now my throat, and I think it's the weather. I'm having a really, really rough time with these allergies and stuff. So this is one. This is the. This is only a guide to your constitutional protection in the context of an investigation of alleged child abuse and neglect by Child Protective Services (CPS). Every state has variances of CPS in one form or another. Some are called DCF, some are called DHS, some are called DSS, some are called DCYS, some are called DCFS, some are called HRS, some are called CYS, and FIA, collectively known as CPS for the purposes of this handbook, okay? The material in this handbook should be supplemented by your own careful study of the Fourth and 14th Amendments and other constitutional protections that are guaranteed even in the context of dealing with CPS. So, a lot of people don't know that they have constitutional rights when it comes to CPS, okay? So, I just wanted to bring this handbook up. It's something that's out there, it's nothing that I'm doing crazy. And I need to find out what the website is so that I can give them credit. Like I said, this is nothing that I have done on my own. The intent of this handbook is to inform parents, caregivers, and their attorneys that they can stand up against CPS and juvenile judges when they infringe upon the rights of both parents and children. As you read this handbook, you will be amazed that your rights are and how CPS conspire with the Assistant Attorney General, the AAG, who then in turn has the judge issue warrant orders that are unlawful and unconstitutional under the law, contrary to what any CPS officials and AAG juvenile court judge or any social worker may say. They are all subject to and must yield to the Fourth and 14th Amendment, just like police officers, according to the circuit and district courts of the United States and the Supreme Court. CPS workers can be sued for violations of your Fourth and 14th Amendment. They lose their immunity by those deprivation of right under the color of law and must be sued in their official and individual capacity in order to succeed in a, I don't know what this is, SS 1983 and 1985 civil rights lawsuit. If the police assist CPS in that deprivation of rights, they also lose immunity and can be sued for assisting CPS in the violation of both yours and your child's right when they are illegally when they illegally abduct your children or either your home without probable cause or I don't know, exigent circumstances which are required under the warrant clause of the 14th Amendment. So you already see right now, I'm showing you by this book that I found that you have rights and by the Constitution. You know, I'm not talking about those parents that are going upside their children's heads and think, oh, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not talking about those parents that are, physically, assaulting their children, or the mother's boyfriend is sexually assaulting a child. I'm not talking about the ones that are addicted to drugs and they're not taking care of their kids. I'm merely talking about those parents that are absolutely innocent. They've complied with everything. They've done everything that they were supposed to do, and then, as I said, I've read stories where family members, the mother, father, whoever it was, did a drug test, a mouth swab, and the CPS worker did not know how to read the swab. And because the CPS worker had no clue on how to read that mouth swab, they stated that that parent was under the influence of alcohol or, a substance, and it was not true. So when the lady went to go get tested, when she tested right after they did the swab, the very next day they did a urine analysis and her system was totally clear of all types of narcotics, any type of alcohol, because she told them, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I'm just tired, I'm sleepy, I worked long, I fed my kids, we just went down to go to bed. My child, kids, they fight when they don't want to go to sleep. So some nosy Sally, called CPS saying that the kids were being abused when the child cried because he or she did not want to go to bed. at the time that the parent was telling the child that they need to go to bed. So someone took it upon themselves to call CPS. So these are some of the things that take place when you have people that don't know what the heck they're talking about, and they put other people's lives in jeopardy, and they ruin other people's lives by thinking that they're being, a superhero when they're actually being a hellion. Okay, so it says about the authors, which I'm glad that it showed me. Oh, I am so sorry, you guys. About the authors. The authors of this book are not attorneys and do not pretend to be attorneys. The authors were victims of false report and were falsely accused by DCF in Connecticut without a proper investigation being conducted. The authors fought back for 8 months against this corrupt organization whose order of the day was to deny them their Fourth, Sixth, and 14th Amendment rights and to fabricate false charges without evidence. So these are people that are actually, fighting back and showing everybody else how to fight back. Okay. So I'm grateful that I actually found this, and I'm going to be doing this in segments because it's a lot of information, and I don't want to like give too much information and have people going like, oh my gosh, she just went too fast and she didn't take her time to, give us the information that we need. So I'm going to go ahead and read through this a little bit, and then I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down, and then I'm gonna start and I'm gonna do some more. Okay, so let me continue. The author's goals, okay, are to not have another child illegally adopted from their family. That CPS and juvenile judges start using common sense before rushing into judgment, and to conduct their investigation the same as police in order to be constitutionally correct and legal, and that CPS must by law comply with the warrant clause as required by the Constitution and the federal courts, whereas they are governmental officials and are subject to the Constitution, as are the police. There are no exceptions to this Constitution, okay, for CPS. So you see, they're breaking it down. They're not having any of the foolery, and for those that just came in, I found a guide where there were a number of people that were wrongly and falsely accused by CPS, and they had their children taken away from them. So they got together and they wrote a guide. So what I'm doing is I'm reading as much as I can of the guide, bit by bit. So hopefully this can help someone that has been falsely accused in the CPS system. And like they said, there are constitutions. I mean, yeah, there are now hold on a second. Let me see. I don't flip the screen. I apologize. So they said you have your amendments. They gave you like the Fourth Amendment, the Sixth Amendment, and the 14th Amendment are rights that CPS must go by, and that those are rights that you have as a parent, and the children have those rights as well when dealing with CPS. I don't know who's left in the chat, but welcome. I hope that this is not going to bore you, but I do have people in my that are my subscribers that are having issues with CPS, and I'm trying to get information to help them so that they can fight back as well. So that's why I'm talking a little bit as I'm allowing them to read through as well, because it could be something that they can pick up. But like I said, thank you for joining me. I appreciate you. I don't know who you are because I can't see you, but thank you so very much for being a part of the live. Let me continue with this. And so it says the introduction. Let me go down. I don't know how much of this I'm going to read because it's a lot of information. Okay, so it says introductions. As a parent or caregiver must know your right and be totally informed. Hold on. It's your as a parent and a caregiver, you must know your rights and be totally informed of what you have a legal right to have and to express. Whether you are a parent caught up in the very oppressive, abusive, and many times unlawful actions of CPS, or if you have never been investigated by CPS, many individuals come to the wrong conclusion that the parents must have been abusive or neglectful for CPS to investigate. This is just a myth and it's not true. Like I said, the fact of the matter is that over 80% of the calls phoned into CPS are false and bogus. And that's what I was saying in my previous video, is that you can have that one person, for instance, hey Air Force, you can have that one person that, for instance, you have somebody living with you and they're not holding up their end of the bargain. You know, they're in the house with you and your kids, and you guys have a set schedule, and this person is being nasty, not, cleaning up after themselves, and you like, you know what, I've asked you so many times, if once you cook, can you please clean up the kitchen? If you take a shower or a bath, can you clean up yourself, behind yourself? Can you, we have a clean household, and you're trying your best. And then when it comes to the bills, the person is sliding you on, your bills. So now you're like, you know what? I hate to do this. You go and you get a 30-day notice written up, and then you tell that person, you know what, you have to go because you're not complying with all the rules. Okay, so this person leaves, like, okay, and you think everything is cool. So all of a sudden, out of the blue, you get this knock at the door, and you're like, what the heck? It's CPS and the police. By law, you do not have to open that door. I'm going to say that right now. By law, you do not have to open that door. Okay. But because people don't know their rights, they end up opening the door. So this individual that you told had to leave your house called CPS and said that you were abusive, you were doing drugs or whatever, and it might be, they may have caught you on a day off, where you sitting down and you got yourself a glass of wine, the kids are in their bed sleeping, it's me time. So they come in and they start talking crazy to you and looking around your house and making up all kinds of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's absolutely horrible. So now you're in a system that you didn't even ask to be in because somebody got angry with you. And I said before, they need to totally do away with anonymous CPS callers. They need to do away with it. They absolutely need to get rid of that anonymous caller. And if the person that's calling in to CPS and they have a real valid reason to, believe that this child or children have been abused and you're afraid to be out in the limelight, I will still require a name, an address, and a phone number to the person that made the call. Because if these people are able to make fake calls and to cause a family to be stirred up, then I think that whatever financial loss that family took, I believe that the person that made that fictitious call should be held responsible and accountable to pay all fees and to, give restitution to the family. And when you start taking away and doing away with the anonymous calling, I guarantee you 100% all those fake calls, like they said 80% of the calls that are called in are false. I guarantee you that 80% will probably dwindle down to maybe 10%, because now they have a name, a face, an address, a phone number, and all these types of things. And like I said before, I jumped over my information. If that person is afraid, then you can use their information, their testimony in court. They can come down to the office, or you can go to their house and you can meet with them and you can get a verbal or a video testimony. You don't have to play it in the court, but allow the judge, to see it. Allow the person's attorney that is in court, the person that had the child services called on them, allow that lawyer to do it confidentially without exposing who this person is to their client. So that way, a lot of this stuff will stop, because I actually knew people that had CPS. Does the family member have the right to ask who the claimant is? Well, actually, they're not going to let you do that because they feel like there could be a retaliation. So what they're doing is they're allowing people to call in anonymous. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I said I think they should do away with allowing people to call in anonymous. Like, if I got mad at you because, okay, say you and I were dating, and you were like, you know what, I don't want to be with you no more, and I'm crying and begging, and you like, no, I kept telling you, and you just kept disrespecting me, or whatever it is that I did to disrespect you. So now you like, it's a wrap, and I fell in love with your kids, but I wasn't treating you right. So now I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna fix him. I'm gonna call CPS on him. I'm gonna tell them, some of the things that some of the things that you did that I noticed, but I didn't think it was a big deal. But now, because you broke up with me, Air Force 5, it's a big deal now. I'm about to ruin your life. They need to stop that. They need to eliminate that kind of stuff, because I said before, I'm going to be having a domestic violence advocate, and she has access to multiple resources. You know what I'm saying? And one night I was on the phone with her, and as I was on the phone, she was like, "Hold on." They called on the business line, and I was able to listen, but I couldn't hear a name or anything like that. And so the girl went on to say that, my son's father is abusing him right now, right now, right now. So, being that my sister is an advocate, she was like, okay, and then she put me on hold and asked for the name and everything. And I guess she went into her system, and then she said, so right now, you guys are currently in court. And she was like, yes, we're in court now. So she said, okay, where is the child at right now? The child is at his father's house. Well, where are you? At home. So how do you know he's at home abusing a child? I'm like, wow. I'm just listening like, wow. I'm peeping game, because a lot of people don't use common sense like that. So she said, okay, hold on a second. She put the girl on hold for 1 second, and the girl hung up. But like my sister told me, what it sounded like is she got pissed off at him because he was with his new girlfriend around the children. And so she called in to try to get him in trouble, but it didn't work. So a lot of CPS workers need to do the same thing. Ask the name, address, and the phone number where they can be reached. And because she figured maybe I'm going too far, they put me on hold. I'm gonna go ahead and hang up. What? Air Force, what is it that you need to understand? Or are you going, I get it. I don't know. You know how it is. We can't see each other face. But yeah, so it's a lot of it going on, and I really wish that I personally could do something about it. I don't know how to go about it, but maybe somebody can help me go about it. We need to start a petition or something, rally together and get that put in the law. Oh, nothing. Yes, I get it. Oh. We need to get that put into the law, that if a person calls to CPS, that they definitely need to have a name, phone number, and an address where the CPS worker can go out and personally get their testimony. So by the time all this stuff happens, when the CPS worker goes out, then guess what? That'll stop all these fake calls. It really will, and I know it will, because a lot of people like to do cowardice stuff behind other people's backs. So let me see where okay. Another myth is that CPS can conduct an investigation in your home without your consent and speak to your child without your consent. CPS employees will lie to you and tell you they do not need your consent. And that's true, they do that. The fact of the matter is, they absolutely need your consent to come into your home and to speak with your children. If there is no exigent, I don't know, if there's no real circumstance, I'm just going to say that imminent danger to your children with probable cause, credible witness to support a warrant, CPS anywhere in the United States cannot lawfully enter your home and speak with you and your children. In fact, it is illegal. You can sue the social worker and the police who assist them, and both lose immunity from being sued. Ain't that something? Did you know that? Because I really did not know that. Did you know that? That's crazy. Because there was a story that I posted where this lady said that CPS came in and closed the door. I mean, told her I could talk to your kid alone. It was a 3-year-old, and the 3-year-old had a dog named Mary and Jane, and a book, something like Mary Jane and Dick or something like that. And when the kid finished talking to the CPS worker, we called Mary Jane back in the, well, not me because I didn't smoke. I heard my family say it. They called weed Mary Jane. So because the little kid was talking about Mary Jane, which was her dog, she said that the kid was saying that mommy smoked drugs. So they tested her with a swab, and the swab, because the lady didn't know how to read it, she said the history of drugs. So the next day, like this other lady, she went and had a urinalysis taken and a hair follicle test, and they clipped her nails. And when the results came back, there was nothing in this lady's system. Hold on, I'm gonna take a drink real quick. I got this sparkling water, and it has like black cherry. Oh, it is so good. Oh my God. When I found it, I went buck wild crazy today. Yeah, so I didn't know that they couldn't do that, but a group of people got together and wrote this out, giving families something to look forward to. So I'm gonna read a little bit more. Let me know when you get tired of my mouth. Okay, I'm just going to read this section, and then I guess we're going to go to the next section tomorrow. So it says, if CPS lies to the AAG, which is the judge, no, it's something else, and the judge, I forgot what it's called, to get a warrant order. I mean, a warrant order, and you can prove it. That also is a Fourth and 14th Amendment right violation, which is a civil rights violation under Section 1983, and conspiracy against rights covered under Section 1985. I hope I'm saying I hope it's section, because I don't know what that crazy SS thing is. If a CPS official knocks on your door, has no legal warrant, you refuse them entry, and the worker then threatens you with calling the police, this is also illegal and unlawful, and both lose immunity. This is coercion. Coercion. I always have a problem saying that. Threatening and intimidation tactics. Even if the police only got the door open so CPS officials can gain entry, both can be sued. And honey, let me tell you something. My name will be Captain Sue, because I will sue the hot dog out of them. And I'm trying not to say no bad words. Remember, CPS officials will not tell you your rights. In fact, they are going to do everything in their power, including lying to you and threatening you with police presence, telling you that you have to let them in. The police may even threaten you to let CPS in because you are obstructing an investigation. Many police officers do not realize that CPS must comply with the warrant clause of the 14th Amendment or be sued by violating it. Ain't that something? And I know a few women on my channel, they gonna absolutely, yeah, CPS lied. CPS lied. They did. They lied. They lied and said that the lady had drugs in her system. They didn't turn the lights on. On one story, they didn't turn the lights on. And so what happened was the lady, she was married. On another story, she was married, and her husband, she gives him the grocery list, and he gets off at like 5 in the morning, and so he'll get off and he'll go to the all night market, and he'll go pick up all the stuff that's on the grocery list. And by the time the children wake up in the morning, there'll be a house full of food. So what happened was the lady had a really bad headache one night, And when she had woke up 2 hours before her husband got home, and her pillow was soaking wet, and she was like, what the heck? And I guess she turned the light on and noticed that her ear was really bleeding bad from the inside. So she tried to call her husband's boss. The boss didn't answer the phone because they are not supposed to have phones on the floor because they work for a tech company. And so she ended up calling 911 for help. 911, the police came, and then CPS came, and CPS and the police were steadily talking, running their mouth, and this lady was bleeding and getting lightheaded. And so they were looking around, and they were flashing their lights, and the kids were asleep. They looked in her refrigerator and her cupboard, it didn't have any food in it. And so she was like, I already fed my kids. Basically, they're not going to want anything else to eat until they wake up. And so they tried to they took her kids, and they put her, and when the police looked at her, he said, oh, she's a teen mom. She's like, wait a minute, how do you know I'm a teen mom? You didn't even ask me how old I am. Not only that, he said that her husband left her when her husband was at work overnight. He worked overnight shift. She had lost her job a month prior, and her husband decided to let her be at home mom. They said that she was chronically unemployed when she had proof to show that she'd been unemployed only 1 month out of all the years that she'd been, living back at her hometown. So they just made up all these stories. They sent the kids to her husband's aunt, which was a mess. And so she ended up getting her kids back because she got an inheritance from her dad, who passed away sadly. And she told them, I'm going to sue the crap out of you guys. And she said the next day after, she said I'm going to hire me the meanest, coldest son of a biscuit lawyer that I can, and we're going to take you down. She said the next day they closed their case because she found a way to get some money. But if you got money, they can scrap your case and you'll be on your way. But people that don't have it, they will come after you and bother you. And I think that's really cold, especially, with how bad these families are. And I want to show another video on here, but I'm afraid that if I show this video that I might get struck. And it was on a website that I went to, and this little girl, she had been taken out of her dad's house. The mother lied, but the little girl is old enough, and she's screaming Air Force 5 to the top of her lungs. She's screaming so bad where it sounds like somebody is literally harming her. And she's screaming and telling the CPS worker, she's telling the judge, she's telling the police, she's telling everybody, I don't want to go back to my mother's house because my mother's boyfriend plays with my VV. That's what she called it, her VV. And she said, and he scratched it and it started bleeding. And she's screaming, please, and she's begging. And you sitting there as a woman watching your man assault your daughter and your son, and the father is sitting there begging and pleading. And the reason why they're not doing anything is because her boyfriend is a police officer. So they finally did something about it. But my thing is this, I want to show that video, but I don't want them to strike me. And I'm going to put the warning up that is triggering. So let me get back to this. I just like sharing stuff with people to see why I have such a passion. You know what I'm saying? So let me see. I know I read that. I think I read that would comply with the warrant clause. Okay, yes. CPS does not have a legal right to conduct an investigation of alleged child abuse or neglect in a private home without your consent. In fact, removing a child from your home without your consent, even for several hours, is seizure under federal law. Speaking to your children without your consent is also a seizure under the law. If CPS cannot support a warrant and show that the child is in imminent danger along with probable cause, CPS cannot enter your home and speak with your children. Remember, anonymous calls into CPS are never probable cause under the warrant clause. And even if they got even if they got a name, a number from the reporter, or on the end of the phone, that also does not support probable cause under the law. CPS must, by law, investigate the caller to determine if he or she is the person who they say they are and that what they say is credible. The call alone, standing by itself, is insufficient to support probable cause under the law. Many bogus calls are made by disgruntled neighbors, ex spouses, or someone wanting to get revenge. So CPS needs to show the same due diligence as the police to obtain sworn statements. See, that's what I was saying earlier. All CPS agencies across the country have an exaggerated view of their power. What you think or is not abuse or neglect, CPS has a totally different definition. The definition is whatever they want it to be. DCF will lie to you, mark my word, and tell you that they can do anything they want and have total immunity. That's a lie. We already saw that. Tell that to the half dozen social workers currently sitting in jail in California. Yep, they lied to the judge. We will discuss this further. We will discuss this in further detail. What CPS and the police can and cannot do. So that's section 1, and I think we're gonna go ahead and stop it there. Uh, Air Force 5, did I do okay? Because I didn't want to make it too long. So there's a delay in a lot of times when I'm reading, but did I do okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and do section 2, probably if I can get some time, and I hope. I don't know why they're not sending out my notifications and letting people know that I'm on. Yes, you did. I was talking. Oh, you was taking notes. Okay. So, do you want to come on for a minute and tell me what you got out of this, because I don't want to just be talking to myself at this point. Maybe for like 5 minutes if I send you the link. Let me see if I can do a share. Let me see. No, I'm supposed to do an invite. Duh. I hope it works. Hold on, let me see if I could put the link down here. Yeah, so you can tell me and we can continue this. Hopefully that link will work. Did you get the link? Let me try it again because I don't see it. Okay, now I see it. If it's not working, let me know. Yeah, because I found this and I was like, "Ooh, this is good. I'm gonna definitely keep this. I'm gonna go through this." Yeah, what? Did it work? No, I don't see anything. It's probably not working. I can't do anything about it. I don't know. It's probably not working. Oh, there it goes. Not working. I can't do it. Okay. I don't know. You're gonna have to turn your YouTube down because it's gonna echo.
Okay, hold on. Okay. You know what? I got my heat on too.
Yeah, that's interesting, huh? This is very interesting information.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It's a bunch of parents got together that was falsely accused. And so that's, I don't know, the Lord just let me find it because we have quite a few women that's my subscribers, and they are going through this right now. So I'm glad that the Lord allowed me to find this.
Oh yeah, I learned that. I learned quite a few things from you today. Well, this evening, that you were talking about because I did not know about these things as far as CPS is concerned.
Hmm.
As far as the unlock the what was it here? They needed probable cause.
Yeah.
In order to and then you said something about a warrant, so they must state on the warrant um, their their reasoning for coming into the home.
Well,
Correct?
first they have to have a warrant to come to your home. They cannot, like if I'm a CPS worker and I knock on your door and I bring the police with me, if I don't have probable cause, if I don't have any sufficient or imminent, like your child is not in imminent danger, like somebody is witnessing you popping the crap out your kid, even in the public, you see bruises. If you don't see any of that, they have no right to come in your house. They can knock on your door and say, open it. You don't have to open your door to the police or the CPS worker.
Right, right, right. Okay, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, you don't have to. You do not have to. So look at your Fourth Amendment right. I believe it's your Sixth Amendment right and your 14th Amendment right. So not only you, but your kids also have those same rights. So you can sue the police worker and the CPS, and your kids can sue the worker and the officer as well.
Hmm.
And that's the rights that you have. But they want to tell you, I'm the law. I have all the rights. No, you do not. No,
Right.
you do not. You don't know what's going on. Like I did a video the other day where this lady called in and said that the mother was whooping the child with a broom.
Yeah, I heard
Okay,
that.
you heard this? You heard that video?
Yeah, because I was on your channel, when you had mentioned that.
Right. And so that's the thing. That sounds a whole lot different from hitting flesh.
Hmm.
So it's a lot of, like I said, it's a lot of bogus calls. You absolutely, anybody, I don't care who it is, you do not have to let them in your house. They
Right.
cannot come in your house. That's almost like breaking and entering. And for them to ramble through your house and your front, like in your refrigerators, in your cupboards, they don't have a right to come in. And you can open your windows, have your screen door open, kick back, looking at TV, turn your volume up and ignore them,
Hmm.
and they can't do anything about it unless they get a warrant from the judge. But if you lie to the judge and the judge finds out, you're going to go to jail
Yeah, yeah. I, I,
as a
I
CPS
don't.
worker.
Right. I don't agree. Because you had mentioned this on your last video. I don't with the woman with the broom. And they took that young toddler, in another room and questioned the toddler, and
Right,
then they thinking that he's talk or he or she is talking about they thinking that this child is talking about drugs. How in the heck is this kid going to know about Mary Jane, marijuana and stuff? That's stupid.
right.
That is so stupid. And I agree with you, and I agree with this statement of tonight that they should not have the right, because even if you have a 15 or 16-year-old who committed a crime, okay,
Okay.
you're supposed to contact that youngster's parents,
Right,
so they can come down and do and say whatever they need to say about their child. So either he's going to go to juvenile hall or either go home. One of
right,
the two, but the parent is there. So
right,
now you're talking about a 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old. Yes, a parent or a guardian, or well, hold up, let me call my sister.
right,
So you can't talk to them until they have an adult there in the room.
Right.
because we don't know what kind of questions that you're going to ask this child.
Right.
You know, if the CPS worker cannot break down or show the parent the questions that they are going to ask this child, then no, you're not talking to my 3-year-old by yourself,
Right.
because I don't know what you're going to take from it or add to it. You know, I don't want you to think, I don't want you to try to get over on me by lying
Right.
about what type of a parent that I am, because you don't see uh, a, 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 a tuna fish sandwich in the refrigerator that that my children are not eating or whatever.
Right.
Now my husband is coming home from work. He goes past the grocery store when he gets off of work, so those children will have something for the rest of the week or the rest of the month. So don't
Right.
come here and lie and say, well, the child is malnutritioned and all of this kind of thing, because now you're lying.
Yep.
Oh, and yeah, so I agree with this young lady for taking the time to let them know that she was going to take them to court.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, a lot of people, a lot of mothers, single fathers, or even married couples, they don't know these laws that you are passing on tonight.
Right.
Okay, they don't know it, and so they let it happen. But see, if this kind of a thing gets out, if your video somehow can go viral with this about CPS, you done did the world or the United States a favor.
Right.
Well, not the
But as
world.
you know what, as I continue to do this, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shoot a little video up and say I'm going on in like 5 minutes,
Mhm.
because I definitely want you on my panel, because you're getting firsthand information, and some of the things that I'm talking about,
Mhm.
you can elaborate for those that don't get it. So I don't want to basically do it by myself. So I want to pull you in, and you can still see the screen. So some of the things you could go ahead and jump in and start talking too, because it's like we're both educating them. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. I understand.
Yeah. So
Understand.
I'm
I,
a good
what I'm
I'm
going to do, what I'm going to
huh?
do, what I'm going to do is I'm going to email you my phone number.
Okay.
So that way you can. But I still will. You, well, I don't have. I mean, here's the thing. As far as my phone is concerned, if you put the link in my phone, the only thing I'll be able to do is talk to you on the phone. You know,
Okay.
or either I would have to put the link, into the chat and then take it out from there. So the best thing to do is just call me, let me know that
No,
you.
I'll just email you. That's even
Okay.
better. But
Okay.
you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and end this live real quick because my dogs is going wild. My husband's home, so they tend to bark, scream, scratch, and scare all over the place.
Okay.
So just shoot me an email, and I'll like, hey, I'm about to go on.
Okay.
All right. Well, y'all, that concludes our story for the night, our learning lesson for the night. We will continue, and we will continue to bring you the information that you need. I'd like to thank Air Force 5, and he will be joining me on these lives so that we can get more information. What I don't see and what I miss, he will be filling in. So don't forget to hit that like button, post notification bell, and subscribe to the channel. And if he has a page, please join his page. And
It's
we'll
coming.
talk to you guys again.
It's coming soon.
All right. Talk to you later.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.